Hey friends, it's Jenna. What's up and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about 5 annoying Poshmark situations. So if you're a seller on Poshmark like myself, and yeah, you've been on there for a little bit, you've probably experienced some of these situations yourself. I get messages asking how I handle these, and I thought it would be fun just to sit down and chat with you guys about just my reaction, my response to these different situations that arise. So if you're not familiar, I am a full-time Poshmark seller. I've been selling on the platform for about 4 years. A full-time seller a little over 3 years, and I absolutely love it. My username on there is EMPTYHANGER, and I just share my whole reselling journey and tips and tricks and everything like that on this YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. But yeah, let's go ahead and start talking about annoying situations. The first situation I'm going to be talking about is probably the most common, the one that I get asked about the most, and that is lowballers. What do you do when someone sends you a lowball offer on Poshmark? And I know we've all been in this situation. You know, you get a notification on your phone, you're really excited, you're opening up Poshmark. Ooh, I got an offer on this, Lululemon jacket I just listed at $85. And then you open it up. What? They offered me $20 on this $85 jacket? Psh, no way. So yeah, it's bound to happen. It happens to everybody. It's just how you choose to handle that situation. Do you let it annoy you? How do you respond to it? And how do you continue to just move along and make sales on Poshmark? Because those lowballers are pretty prevalent, but I think that's just gonna happen anywhere where you have that opportunity to make an offer on an item because people want a deal. So what do I do when I get a lowball offer? I do the exact same thing every single time. And no, the answer is do not decline the offer. I never, ever, ever decline. I always counter. And what I do, whether the offer is a lowball offer, a moderate offer, I always counter with my absolute lowest that I'm going to accept on the item, and I basically stick with it. So say someone offers me the $20 on the $85 jacket, and you know what? I think I'm okay with accepting $70. I would be happy with that profit margin. I'm gonna counter 70. What happens if they then counter, I don't know, $21? Like, whoa, they came up a whole dollar. I still counter 70. And we might go back and forth a little bit. Either they're gonna decline, they might start coming up. I'm still gonna counter the $70. And what happens is eventually either they decline, they meet me, or I will eventually decline after I've really stood my ground, like maybe 5 or 6 times of going back and forth, and they're just not giving it. That $70 is my lowest offer. At that point, I will decline, but I never decline the first time that they make me an offer, no matter how low it is, because you just never know what's gonna happen. I've had times where the person has, after, sending that initial offer and me countering, accepted whatever I've sent back. I've had them decline it, but then maybe come back 2 weeks later and offer my counter offer price. So they are willing to pay it. Maybe they didn't have the money at the time. And yeah, sometimes they will just decline and walk away, and you might lose out on that sale. But you know what? You wouldn't have been happy with that anyway. So I would rather lose out on the sale, wait for the right buyer to come along, but at least give them the opportunity to purchase it at the price that you would be happy with. So my number 1 rule with lowballers, even though it can be annoying, is just be happy that you got an offer and always counter it. Do not decline. The second situation I want to talk about today, I'm going to group it together into something I call the comments. The comment section in your listing, where basically users can comment on your listings, but also they have the ability to ask questions. And Poshmark's pretty transparent. They want everyone to see all the questions that are being asked versus having private messages. So we're going to talk about the most common questions that can be pretty annoying that happen in the comment section. So number 1, the one I probably see the most, is the question, trade? And I don't even know if that's really a question. It's just trade, question mark. And I don't know where this all began, if this was something that was really popular when Poshmark started. I didn't start selling on the platform in the very beginning, but I know that the purpose of the platform is to sell your items and buy items. So I don't know why all these people think everyone wants to trade. So I do always respond to these people, and I usually respond the exact same way. I just say, thanks for the offer, but I'm just looking to sell. I know it can be annoying. Let's say you just listed a really nice new at tags free people dress someone asks you to trade, you look in their closet and it's just a bunch of their used Victoria's Secret pink sweatpants. I don't know. Or maybe some like old lotion they have that's not even supposed to be listed on Poshmark. Just still take the time to respond to them, let them know, you know, thank you, acknowledge them, but tell them that you're politely not interested. I find a lot of times that people are just happy you respond to them. Sometimes they'll then make an offer on your item. Sometimes they might purchase it, or they're just truly interested in trading and they're on to find their next victim. But yeah, trading is the most common question. Another question I get asked a lot in comments is model. Can you model this item? And a lot of times the answer is no, because as resellers, or as a reseller myself, I sell stuff in all different sizes. I cannot possibly model everything. It's not gonna fit me. I just don't think it's something that's gonna be realistic. But again, you wanna acknowledge them, and I say give them something. So what I'll do is usually say, I'm sorry, I can't model, it's not gonna fit me. Would you like any other measurements, or would you like a certain measurement so you can compare it to something you have? So again, you're acknowledging the question that they asked about asking you to model, and then you're going to give them something else in return, which would be offering to do either more measurements if you already have some measurements, or just measurements in general. That way they can make an educated decision on if they're gonna buy your item. Another thing you could offer them is to say, you know, take a look at the stock photo if you have a stock photo in your listing, or if you don't have one, maybe you can find a stock photo online. Just Google and try and find a picture through results, and then provide that for them to maybe take a look at. But yeah, I just at least respond to them and let them know that I cannot model. And then the other question that I notice, it's not as frequent, but people will ask, how many times have you either worn this item or washed this item? Which honestly, even if the item was something I owned myself, I have absolutely no idea how many times I wore it or washed it. Maybe if I wore it like once or twice, I would know. But if it was something that was in my regular rotation, I could not even guess an answer to that. So what I do for those people, again, I answer them and I let them know, I'm sorry, I'm not the original owner of this, so I don't know the answer to that, but then I restate the condition. So again, I'm acknowledging their question and letting them know that, you know, I'm not the original owner, I don't know the answer, but then I'm giving them more specifics about the condition. You know, it's in excellent condition, there's no pilling, or maybe it's in good condition, there is this one hole that I mentioned in the listing. If you look at this photo, you can see it, blah, blah, blah. Basically, just answer the question to the best of your ability, and maybe they will be happy with that. Okay, the next situation that occurs quite a bit, and people always ask how I handle it, is one item bundles. What do you do with one item bundles where someone adds something and then goes away, nothing else happens, they don't add another item, they don't make you an offer? How do you handle that? And there's a few different ways that you can handle this situation. I will say, like 9 times out of 10, I just kind of ignore that situation. I don't really do anything about it, because one, I think they could be window shopping, you know, they could just be adding something and then like looking around in your cart or in your store for something else to add to it. Or they might just be adding it to a bundle and then they're gonna come back to it like maybe next week and see if there's something else that you listed that might go with it. So that's kind of a situation where you don't know if they're still shopping. And then 2, I also send out offers to likers on my items probably every 2 to 3 weeks. I've talked about this in the past, and I'm sending out offers on pretty much every single item in my closet. So if they like that one item, instead of me sending them an offer right then when they put it in a bundle, I just send out offers to everyone that's like that item, and when they add it to a bundle, it automatically adds it to their likes. So they're gonna receive the offer that I send out. So instead of me like doing something immediately, it usually just happens a little bit later. Now, there is another thing that you could do in this situation. It's not something that I do proactively, I'll be honest. It's probably something that I could work on, but I don't always have the time. But what I think would be cool is if someone added one thing to the bundle, you could then go and add something else to their bundle that goes along with that other item. Say they put in a top, maybe add an accessory or a pair of jeans that's a similar size that goes with that item. And then you could send them an offer and write a comment within that bundle letting them know, hey, I saw you picked out this top. I think these jeans would look awesome with it. Let me send you an offer on these 2 items. And you could send them an offer and see if maybe they purchase those 2 items, or maybe they're not interested in those jeans, but maybe then they'll choose something else to go along with it because they see that you're flexible in sending them offers. So I think that's an area of opportunity for myself and maybe other people to utilize that bundle feature and being able to add items to someone else's bundle. I know when I was at Posh Fest this year in Dallas, or it was last year, the end of last year, they talked about people being more likely to purchase a bundle if you wrote a comment on it. So I think instead of just adding the item and sending them the offer, I think also adding that comment about, I think these items would look great together, here's my best offer, that might be, you know, a situation where they're more likely to purchase the bundle. So you can either be like me most of the time and just, you know, not do anything if someone adds one item to a bundle, or you could be proactive, add something else, send them a comment and send them an offer. If you do that, let me know how it works out for you, because I think that could be good. Maybe I'll start trying to do that a little more frequently. Okay, the next thing that's annoying, it doesn't happen as frequently as some of these other things, but it is when the buyer asks to cancel the order after they've already made the purchase. Maybe they purchased it accidentally, maybe their 2-year-old got a hold of the phone, was looking through their likes, added it to a bundle, purchased that. You know, it's just, you get all these different situations or stories where people made an accidental purchase, or, you know, maybe they just hit the button by mistake and now they want to cancel, which can be frustrating because you got really excited, you saw that you had a sale, and now what do you do? What you should do is, I say, always put yourself in the buyer's shoes. I know we want to, you know, make a profit, make a sale, but you also want your customers to be happy. So whenever someone asks me if they can cancel a sale, as long as I haven't shipped out the item, I don't really care about the time frame. If it's the next day and I still haven't shipped it, I will always cancel that sale for them. I want my customer to be happy, and Poshmark has made it really easy now. This is like an update they've had within the last year, that if you cancel a sale, you can very easily relist the item and it still retains all of the likes and comments and interest on that item. So you're not having to like totally relist, start from scratch. It's just a single push of the button. So when you go into your sales and you can see where you canceled the order, you click on that item and then there's an option to relist the item, and then they just ask you to clarify, are you sure you want to relist the item? You click yes, and that item is immediately available in your closet again. So to me, it's worth it to have the customer be happy, because you never know, they could come back the next week and buy a 10-item bundle because they're just so happy they weren't ready to purchase at that time. Maybe they needed the money for something else, and you know, they realized that you were really nice and you have great customer service, and then they want to purchase from you. So yeah, I just think kill people with kindness, always be accommodating, or as much as you can, because in the end it's gonna come around, and I don't know, I just feel like good things are gonna happen. So I always try to remain positive and just put myself in the buyer's shoes. The fifth and final situation that I want to talk about has to do with packages being shipped. So I usually ship my packages the next day after the item has sold, and no matter if I just drop my packages off at the post office or if I have the mailman scan them, my packages never show the tracking updated until that evening, usually like 2 or 3 in the evening. I think it's when it goes through like the sorting facilities onto the next destination and they update everything. But there's been a lot of times recently, I feel like it's kind of been over the holiday season and then now it's trickled over into the new year, where the tracking doesn't update that night where I ship the items out. And I want to let the buyer know, and I want to let Poshmark know that I have shipped this item. I don't know if there's a delay between either, you know, me and the post office, or the post office and then the Poshmark system as far as updating all that goes, but I want to let them know that I have shipped the item and that it's on the way, because I don't want this order to be canceled. So what I do is I just go under my the tab on the far right in the app. I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's like all your settings, and you just go to your sales and then you'll click on the item, and it usually says awaiting shipment, because after I ship my item, I mark down, you know, everything saying that I've dropped it off at the post office. So then it's awaiting shipment, and yeah, I want to let them know that there is an issue with the tracking. So I click on problems, order inquiry at the very bottom of that page, and then I want to select where it says shipped but not tracking, and that way you can submit that to Poshmark. So pretty soon after you submit that, you get an email from Poshmark just letting you know that they got your inquiry about your package. I don't know if they check on it immediately because Poshmark does give you a few days for shipping, but if it hasn't updated in a couple days, at least they know that you have shipped it and they need to do a little bit more research. The buyer knows you shipped it, no one's gonna cancel your order. Hopefully that helped to hear how I handle different situations on Poshmark. I know I called them annoying situations, but really the best thing is to try not to get annoyed. Don't take things personal, and like I mentioned before, put yourself in the buyer's shoes and just think about how you would feel if you were approaching that situation, how you would want someone else to react, and then react that way. But yeah, again, I hope you enjoyed this, and if there's any situations that I missed or any kind of questions that you have along these same lines, let me know down in the comment section below, because I could do a part 2 if there is enough interest or like other situations that I didn't talk about. And please give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!